Good morning, Shannon, Flying Aces Duck Calls. Opening weekend here of duck season in Texas. Wanted to do a little video about tuning or retuning your duck call. A lot of people come in from that first hunt of the season and thinking to yourself, man, my duck call just doesn't sound as good as it did last year. And in most cases, you're probably right. Usually one of two reasons. One is, and the most common, you hadn't picked up your duck call all season, and it's hung in your closet, and you hit the woods at first hunt, and something just sounds a little off, and more than likely, it's you. You're just unpracticed, and most people agree that you're going to sound a lot better after a few weeks into the season or towards middle of the season than you do at the very beginning, just because you're not practiced up. Outside of the guys that are just ate up with it, that are going to spend the time on the front side getting ready. But the other reason is it may be time for a retune on your duck call, and that's what we're going to talk about this morning. People send me their calls to retune, and I definitely don't mind doing it, but it's a very simple task, and but like anything else of any importance, there's a couple tricks to it, and if you know those, it's something that you can do easily and not worry about messing up your very expensive duck call. So first thing that you're going to need, a couple simple tools you got laying around the house. One, sharp pocket knife. Two, a marker or an alcohol pen. In the Marine Corps, they call these a map pen. They work great. A new reed and cork that you can get from your call maker or online from all of the duck call parts, sales. People that are out there nowadays, a good sharp pair of scissors, a bastard file, and a fingernail file with a fine grit side. First thing you're going to want to do is, before you pull your call apart, there are some critical measurements that whoever built your call has put into this call that do not need to be altered. So typically the first one is going to be the length of the reed. So without pulling anything apart, simply push down on your reed, take the backside of a sharp pocket knife and scribe or score that tone board at the end of that reed. That way you know where it's at. You know where that spot is. To make it easier to see, you can take your map pen, your alcohol pen, and you can mark that spot. Now you know exactly where that reed was designed to fall on that tone board. The next thing that you want to do is look at your cork and make sure that the replacement cork that you bought is the same width as your cork slot. They sell them in different widths, lengths. You may need to take a razor blade and alter your cork before you reinstall it. One of the main reasons that your call sounds different at the end of the year, especially if it's a live cork, the cork has gone flat. There's no moisture left in it. And as a cork dries out, your reed is going to get loose, and it's not going to hold as tight. That little bit of pressure change on your reed is going to totally change the way that duck call sounds. So if you don't have a new cork or don't want to replace your cork, which I recommend you do at least every season or two, when you get ready to pull this cork apart, verify you have the right size cork. This just came out, like there's no pressure on this whatsoever. That's a dead cork. One thing that you can do is you can simply chew on it, on your old cork or your new cork before you put it in, for 3 or 4 minutes. Just lightly chew on it. That will put some moisture, that chewing on it, those pores getting squished, they're going to absorb the moisture from your mouth, and it's going to re-wet that cork. It's going to expand, and already this cork is fitting tighter. The next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take your old reed and inspect it. Make sure there's not any cracks, splits, anything wrong with it. Take your new reed. You need to verify that they're the same thickness. You can do that with a micrometer. In most cases, you can just feel it. Put the two reeds together. If one is thicker than the other, your fingers will tell you. The next thing you want to do is you want to find the upside of the reed. All of this mylar comes off of a roll, and it has a natural curvature to it. So simply put it between your two fingers, mash it. This is the upside. This is correct. When you put a reed in the caul, that's what you want. You want that curve going up. This would be incorrect. Do not put that reed in the caul. That's correct. So you take your new reed, make sure you got the right side going up. Take your old reed, that's exactly the right width, and I'm going to mark my new reed on the exact same spot so that this reed is the same length as the old reed that we pulled out of it. Then we're going to take our very sharp, clean scissors, and we're going to cut this reed at the exact mark. I typically cut above the line, which is leaving it, a 30-second long. And I have a little bit more to take off if I need to. Start a little bit long, and you can always trim just a hair off. You can't ever put it back. Now I'm going to take my new reed that we know is going the right way. I'm going to take my new cork. Now we're going to go to the tone board. You're going to have some buildup on the tone board from your spit from last season, especially my Copenhagen enthusiasts. You're going to have some buildup in here that needs to be cleaned out. You don't, under any circumstances, want to take any material off this tone board. It was tuned precisely by the person that made it to be exactly where it's at. You just want to take any buildup of saliva off of that tone board. Typically, I'll take a bastard file, very fine, and just hit a few little licks to loosen it up. And then I'll take the fine side of a fingernail file. Same thing. Just going to make sure if there was any buildup on there, we have removed it. Not taking off any of the material of the tone board. Now I'm going to take my new cork. Pause. Sorry, had to sneeze. We're going to take our new cork and reed. This brand new cork, you can put it in a glass of water, let it soak, which is what I do on new calls going out. But this is my call. My personal call, easy way. I'm just going to chew on it. I've already done this a few times this morning. Bite on it. Let it get some moisture in it. That's going to ensure that it slides into that cork slot very easily without overpressuring it and potentially breaking my cork slot, which is a big deal. If your cork feels very, very tight, don't use it. It needs to be snug, not crazy tight. I'm going to take my brand new reed, make sure that it's going the right way, all the way to the back of the cork slot. Check it. It is hitting my mark. Everything looks good. I'm going to take my new cork. I'm going to slide that to the back of the cork slot. Use something to push it all the way in. Take my razor knife, and I am simply going to trim the edges of my cork very carefully, not to go get stitches or not cut any material off of my insert. Just like that. Both sides. Done. Now that call that this morning was dead, flat, had no ring to it, should be singing unless I need to take a pinch off the reed. There you go. Good day, gents.